the channel. I'm Mr. Giggles, and this month it's Spooky Month. So sit back, relax, and get spooked.
What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Underdog Eats, the Sonic Views, and I watched A Quiet Place Day 1 with the tagline, "Here how it all began." This time we didn't have the family that we followed in the first two movies, but we had two new characters. Well, a few new characters, but we followed two. A woman named Sam and a guy named Eric. Well, first Sam and then later she met Eric and then we followed both of them. So yeah. It's also, I don't know where it was last time, but this time it was in New York City. So let's just start. We look over New York City. Hey, look at that. And the screen says New York City gives off an average of 90 decibels, and I have something to say about that. I work outside, and I work with machines that are 96 decibels. So it doesn't sound like a lot more, but it's actually, if you know how much it is between the two stages, it's probably a lot. Anyway, that shit makes you deaf. On long term, it can make you deaf, you know. And if you just live there on average, Jesus fucking Christ, dude, because probably a lot of people without knowing have hearing problems in New York City. I don't know if that's true or not, but I would think that's the case, because with 90 decibels just daily, just walking through the streets of, well, come on, who are we kidding, driving through the streets of New York City, that's still 90 decibels. That's loud. That's really loud. You need to have ear protection for that kind of decibels. So yeah, it's probably a city that I probably don't. Well, it's a big chance that I'm not gonna visit America, the mainland U.S. in general, but because I don't have the money for it. But it would be nice, to see some national parks, some coffee shops there, some weed dispensaries, and yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that like I said, that's just damaging for your hearing. But we see that screen, we see New York, while we hear the noise of traffic and just city noise. We just hear city noise. And then we see a woman, Sam, staring. She's not directly looking at the camera, but she's looking next to it, and I thought that they were maybe in a psych ward because I saw some people, behind her sitting, and she had also a kind of pattern that you saw in those old psych wards. So I don't know. No, they're just in a hospice. Ah, all right. And we then hear a guy call, Sam, Sam. She looked at him, and he says, "Why don't you go ahead?" And she looks at the other side, and we see 5 people, sitting in, in a partially circle. And we go back um, to Sam saying, that she's gonna read a poem. The screen goes back to the man, and um, he says then, uh, I didn't say uh, you have to do it, but with wording that it was not the exact words that he said for you have to do it, but he kind of phrased it from you have to do it, in my opinion, um yeah, and then she read the poem. But also gonna leave it at that, because if you don't know what's gonna happen next, watch the movie yourself. I haven't written down a lot after this, but just a few points. When the helicopters fly, through the city, it it made stampedes, and it was just not one helicopter, but maybe 5 of them. But it really, all the monsters, it made a whole stampede through the whole city. Jesus fucking Christ. Um, Everybody was going to the southeast port, something like that, I think. Um, to get on the boat, and there was a whole crowd, a whole march, of people, just walking, and some even had a suitcase, dragging over the floor of the ground, and the guy on a wheelchair. But yeah, I get it, he's in a wheelchair, but still, broken glass is already on the ground, so that still makes sound, and everybody walking, and obviously. So many people eventually, that makes just sound, that makes a lot of sound, because everybody's walking, and then see, this is what I have to deal with. And if I watch a movie, I can't hear shit without subtitles. So, in this movie they didn't use uh, sign language, but in other movies they did, but they didn't provide their own fucking subtitles for it. So, if you have a movie where you use sign language, maybe provide some subtitles, because I think most people don't know what you're saying. And there are people that obviously do know what you're saying. Maybe they have their friend or their parents or their deaf themselves, but or deaf child, who knows? But uh, I think a lot of people just don't know what you're saying, and it just looks like some signing. But in the first movie, without subtitles, I didn't know what the fuck they were saying. Especially with the daughter, who's deaf. And then if she's saying something, she's signing it. So I don't know what the fuck she's signing to to her family, and they're signing back to her. It just looked like signing to me without subtitles. So provide some subtitles. But anyway, people marching. Monsters showed up, and then one maybe got attacked or something, and then people screaming. Yeah, because don't they know that sound attracts those monsters? Apparently not, because people start to scream and panic, obviously, but then again start to scream, and that attracted more monsters and attacking, yada yada yada. Lot of dead people. Yeah. Come on, really? Yeah, and that's basically it. Water. Was a good movie. It was not as good as the first one, but still a good movie. So 4 out of 5. Watch the movie yourself. Leave likes. Recommend a good monster or alien movie down below in the comment section. You don't have to recommend Alien because we're gonna watch that next month. Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to my second channel, Underdog Eats, where we do food, drinks weekly, and also from time to time hot sauce and alcohol. And the third channel, Underdog Reacts, where we do primarily music. Link down below in the description. And see you guys next time. Bye.